Hi, this is Peter Godinez, your ambassador with K80Y TV, with an edition of Meet the Boss. And we have the good pleasure of having Vince Behrens, and he is the owner of American Drive-In Cleaners. And I'm really excited to have him here. I've heard some things about him, and again, as I said, when I get excited, I talk too much, but the whole point is just to talk about you. So you are really all about just promoting Oxnard. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I really am interested. And by the way, you have you ever been told you look like Clooney a little bit?
Well, thank you. No,
you're welcome.
It's usually Huelhauser.
But
They give me Huelhauser look. Wherever I go, every old lady knows that I'm Huel. I'm come back.
Well, at least you have ladies come up to you.
Correct.
That's a good thing.
That's a good sign.
But tell us about yourself.
Well,
you have
okay.
quite a background.
Where do I start? I have 10 minutes. So I'm a downtown kid. I grew up in the downtown. My father was considered to be Mr. Downtown. And when he passed away in '88, I inherited all of his wonderful shoes and all the different clubs that he was involved in. And so I took over the family business and continued to do what he tried to get done. He passed away at the age of 60. Mm-hmm. And so I was 15 years old. I started working on the downtown as a kid. I would talk to all the old mayors, and I talked to all the old councilmen, and tried to get a lot of stuff accomplished, because they would drive through the downtown and yet never see any of the problems that I saw as a kid. And I was able to get about 4 or 5 other family-owned businesses that had children that were stepping up into the next position, and we started working on the downtown. So we started working on the Salsa Festival, Farmers Market, trying to make sure that people understood there is a downtown, and it was not the crime-ridden part of the city that everyone wants to avoid. And so from there, we started the Downtowners, and the Downtowner signature event is the Salsa Festival, and we make some money from that. And that is the reason we started that, was to put money back into the downtown. So when it does make money, it helps out any project in the downtown. Like in this case, they loaned us $10,000 for the new nativity set that we bought. And so we've done some wonderful things with it. And the idea being was, if I'm going to stay in the downtown, in the family business, I have to have a successful downtown. Not having a successful downtown really says it's a sure sign that you don't have a healthy city. Downtowns are places where people remember, they have fond memories, they don't have fond memories, but they do have memories of some sort of place that they used to shop in the downtown. And going way back, I remember all the old stores that were around, and there are certain families that are still here, mm-hmm. and we've given it all. We've gone through a downtown, we've gone through the DA investigation, we've gone through the no more redevelopment, we've gone through all of the problems that the city has had, right? And so we're still here. So if we've looked through the last 8 years, we're probably going to be here a lot longer. So why is it that we are not able to get certain things accomplished? And that's what I'm trying to help to do. And once we got the renewal of the PBID, which is the business district in the downtown, I wanted to have a city manager. I wanted him to have some money. I wanted him to have the ability to accomplish certain things and to have a group that he can go to with ideas, because that's what downtowns are all about when it comes to competing with other sections of the city. And we have been ignored in a lot of ways, and I thought, okay, why is it that we don't have forums? And that's what tonight is. Tonight is a big forum that helps. And I want to see whether the candidates have really done their homework, if they understand what urban planning is, if they understand what it's like to communicate. I don't want them to promise me anything, because I've done the promises and they didn't come out with anything. I just want to know whether or not they are serious about their city and their downtown. The mayor's only there for 2 years. I don't expect a huge amount, but I do expect that he's going to sit down and have a conversation with us. We haven't had that. I mean, that's been the real challenge. We have never had that real sit-down conversation. The new city manager has talked to us. He is understanding of what we're trying to accomplish. And that's been very nice, because that's never happened before. And I'm paying these people a lot of money, and you would think that they would be able to interact with us. And Greg has been very nice about doing that. And so I'm hoping that out of this comes something. I'm not looking forward to any huge changes, but we now have the boulevard. The state has given us that. We have a grant for $250,000, so that hopefully we can see some changes on the boulevard, because if you drive down the boulevard, a lot of people are scared, and there's no reason to be. It's still the safest part of the city, but unfortunately, perceptions. And I'd like to see the city become the cultural center of not only the city, because we do have a Carnegie, but we also have a Social Security building. And I would love to see Museum Row there. I would love to see a cultural center of not just the city of Oxnard, but the county of Ventura. I would love to see a science museum there. I think between a park, a theater, a parking structure, city hall, a library, location, 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 and if we could have a really nice design, architecturally, a building that just, when you drive in, automatically it attracts you to go into it. And I'm hoping that that could be something that we could really accomplish, because in the end, the downtown has to be the cultural center of the city, and then from there, I'm hoping that we would get businesses to come in, that the rents start to go up again, where it makes sense for people who want to come downtown. And, you know, I can imagine people coming from Santa Barbara, from Simi Valley, coming to downtown Oxnard, a place that they might never have come to, but just by going to downtown LA to the Science Center, or to the Exploratorium in San Francisco, they would have an opportunity to come here and say, you know, this is a city that has a vision of where it wants to go, and to start thinking about where is the city's direction, because every city has gone through this. Every city shares the same problems. There's always the homeless, there's always not enough housing, there's all those same problems, and every city in the world has to deal with these things. And so where does the city of Oxnard go in the 21st century, and how are we going to get there? And do we have a business group behind it? Do we have property owners that want to go there? Or are we just going to be very apathetic and just kind of wait for it to happen? And I'm thinking now that I have a new city manager and forum that's happening, and an economy that's slowly crawling out of it, you know, where are we going to be in a year? Where are we going to be in 5 years? You know, I have to be able to turn the family business over to my kids if they so choose to have it. Otherwise, you know, I have to decide whether or not it's still a place that's worthy of willing to live in. And that's what I'm kind of hoping I can find, because I'm a kid that grew up in the downtown, and I would like to die in the downtown in my own way, but I also want to know that it was a city that we tried really hard to make it better. And all these people that are running all say the same thing in their own different way. And I just think now that with the troubles behind us, hopefully, that people will start to think of the future and where we're going to be.
I just think everything you say is very doable.
Correct.
You know, it's
And
not like
thank you.
rocket science. I mean,
Well, we have backyard barbecues where I have that same conversation. Just get the little stuff done. Just get a lot of little stuff done. I mean, even if there's not any money, at least you have the ability to, hopefully through little leadership, that we can find stuff that happened. I mean, the Science Museum is just something we were talking about, but I've already talked to the Cousteau Society, to NASA, to JPL, to, you know, name any science organization, and they would be more than happy to help out. I live in a brown downtown, and that's been, you know, I can get the grants, you know, we can work on the map, and music, all of those things that everybody wants it to happen, we could do. And that's what I'm kind of hoping that we can kind of move forward with. And that's been the biggest challenge, and that's what I'm hoping to hear from tonight.
you know, tonight is really exciting because, like I said, I think the Elks Lodge is this sanctuary where, again, Jess, who I think runs it, knows how to get people at this location. And
Well, strategically, I wanted it to be there.
Yeah,
I
and,
wanted
you know,
a big hall, and I wanted a bar afterwards.
because I've seen him get families together. He's been known for getting the wrestling thing there, and his families get come there, and he has to have a good security. So I know that's a special location, and unfortunately I have a speaking engagement, but I wanted to be there so much. And but I was impressed that you were 15 years old and talking with mayors. So did you wear the suit and tie?
Well,
I'm just trying to
it's
see a
ironic
picture of
because
that.
all these mayors were downtown mayors. They,
Right.
you know, when I first started talking to Sugi, he was a guy that I grew up around the corner from, so I knew
Right.
his kids, so I could have a conversation with them.
Wow.
Nothing got done with it, but I
Right.
could have the conversation, you know, and then I was hoping that Lopez could get some stuff done because, you know, he owns property downtown. Then we had Tom, and he didn't get a whole lot done in the downtown, and then I had, you know, I had Tim, and he's not getting a whole lot done. So I'm really putting some pressure on them to start moving and start to think about, you know, if they're gonna live in the city, make it start to come together.
No, I love it, and you know, I just love this form of media, and the fact that I met you is just incredible. But the fact that we're taking this content and we're sharing someone who basically should be out in the foreground of people's minds, and what you're saying makes so much sense. And I hope this really does go viral and the message gets out there, because I think that's part of it. The doing is one thing, but getting this message out. So what you just said is,
Well,
I think,
if you
a
think
big
about
part
it,
of
you're in California.
Yeah.
You're on the West Coast.
Thank you, yeah.
You're right next to an ocean. I breathe the same air as Santa Barbara. I walk on the same sand as Malibu.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm in the biggest community in the county.
Right.
Why is it that it has the perception that it has? And we only do it to ourselves.
You know, being from marketing, perception seems to be greater than the fact. And my old version was people find out about Oxnard because they go up to Santa Barbara if they're going to live there. They have lunch here. They go up to Santa Barbara and they go, oh, that's good. And then they go back, well, this Oxnard, this looks pretty good. We didn't look at that. But you know, again, that's just like the perception story. But you telling this story is a great catalyst to making this thing that's not so hard to do. It's that much more incredible. So thank you so much for sharing that story. This handshake is historic. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And have fun tonight. I'll be there in spirit.
KADY is recording it tonight, right? So you'll be able to watch it.
I'm going to be able to watch it, so I just won't be there in person. And so I know Jess will be representing me, give me a bad time that I'm not there, but I'll be gone for good reasons. So anyway, thank you again.
No
Vince,
problem.
this is Peter Godinez, your ambassador with KADY with Meet the Boss.